Salute, salute, salute. Bow. What's happening? It's Nocturnal. Real quick video. Then I'm gonna get out the way. So I wanted to further elaborate my thoughts on the All Access. I just finished watching it again, and this time I actually got an opportunity to sit down and just watch it. Wasn't busy, wasn't preoccupied. Could just sit and watch it. You know what I'm saying? So this is my third time watching it. And I had to watch it because I was looking for this little part just to take a picture of Errol Spence Sr. to talk about what I said in my last video. You could see genetically where Errol Spence gets his genetic makeup from his frame, his shoulders, his height, his definition in his arms, the vascularity, the muscle density, all that type of stuff is pretty similar to his father. And I had to say, his father is probably in his 50s, early 50s, you know what I'm saying? So to anyone out there that has to come to a conclusion that Errol Spence has to be on some kind of enhancement to achieve the physique that he has. If you look at his father, you can see only half of his genetics, because you get your genetics from everybody. You get your genetics from down the bloodline on both sides of the family, but you can just look at his father and see that he has very similar genetics to his father. And you can just see that I can see that. I don't know if you can see that, but I can see that with just by looking at Errol Spence Sr., his arm. Just like I said, if I show you a picture of my pops, when my pops was in his 19s and 20s and early 20s, you can see the same frame. You can just take my head off and put his head on, be the same genetics. Okay, so like father, like son is my point. You don't have to have some kind of, you know what I'm saying, unnatural enhancement to be a beast. You can be born a beast. You know, son of a beast. You could be son of a beast. I digress. Anyways, further thoughts on the All Access. First, when it first opened up, it showed the cornfield. And I thought that was cool because it automatically went from the cornfield to saying we in Texas, as to show Omaha is not the only place. Omaha, Nebraska is not the only place that has cornfields. And that was just to let them know that, in my opinion, from what I saw, that was just to let Nebraska know they was the only place where you can find cornfields. And you see him doing some road work. You know what I'm saying? Running in first gear. And he had his father, Senior, behind him on the bicycle. You know what I'm saying? Keeping him company on the road. And that's going to play a huge factor into any boxing match, is your conditioning. And we're doing road work is still old school fundamental. You really can't escape it. You can't get away from doing road work. No shortcuts, no stones unturned, right? So I thought that was cool. Reminded me of back in the day playing Tyson's Punch Out with the little dude running with the trainer on the bike behind him. Old school, you know what I'm saying? Then it went over to Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford was in Colorado. Well, before it started them doing a send-off. A big send-off, hometown send-off, big barbecue. You know, they had kids out there dancing, had people taking pictures. You know what I'm saying? He was kissing babies and signing autographs. Had that big dog, Canelo. That was all dope. That was nothing but saluted. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was real cool how they put that in, edited everything in there. One thing that both guys said that I thought was a salute. Bud said he fights force with force. When he's met with force, he uses force back. I thought that was dope. That's a nice little saying. Earl Spence, one thing that he said that stands out is he said that when Terrence Bud Crawford smells blood, he goes in for the kill. You know what I'm saying? If he feel like he got you wounded and he can smell blood, he goes in for the kill. I salute that. That's dope. So it showed them do they send off for Terrence Bud Crawford. Then they showed them the next morning, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Everybody got there. Bernie the boxer and Big Bo Mac and forget the other little guy who does his pad work with him. Now I didn't see this one dude, and I'm gonna say his name. Hopefully his name is right. One of my subscribers left me a comment to give me further input and further, what do you say? I forget how he said it, but I'm gonna say input, further information on the little Terrence Bud Crawford versus Derrick James Little. And I ain't gonna stay on this subject long because I think it's overcooked. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big thing and I don't want to focus on negative. But he said the guy name is Wayne Sullivan, the big old white boy that hang out with Terrence Bud Crawford. I've seen him before. I didn't know that was who was heckling Derrick James. I didn't see that. I have to go back maybe and see that part again myself. Maybe I still missed it, but I didn't know that was him. But according to one of my subscribers, he said dude name is Wayne Sullivan. He's that big white boy. When he was at the David Avenesian fight, he had on the big Christmas, Santa Claus had the Christmas suspenders and shirt and everything like that. And he's the same dude that kind of got into a little back and forth with David Avenesian's team when they was doing that press conference in Omaha, Nebraska, according to my subscriber. I'm not 100% sure on that. I hope he did his homework. But if that's correct, that guy was the person that was heckling Derrick James, saying that Derrick James was a trainer of the year, but don't know what a unified champion or undisputed champion is. And he was referring to what Derrick James said in the first press conference about Teofimo Lopez accomplishing, you know what I'm saying, being a undisputed, two-time undisputed champion. And Terrence already had corrected that, you know, on the stage. He said, you tried it, but no, that was a lineal championship. He was never undisputed. I'm gonna hold there, I'm gonna go back to it. But it showed Terrence Bud Crawford team, you know what I'm saying, pack up and head to Colorado. You know what I mean? And I like to see them have that brotherhood, that camaraderie, and them all take a moment to pray before they went on their journey. And I thought that was cool. I salute that, right? Now, like I said, I'm just gonna touch on this Derrick James thing and I'm gonna move on. According to my subscriber, it's Wayne Sullivan, a big trash talker, a UFC fighter, and one of Bud's best friends was the person that was heckling Derrick James. Now, it looked like to me Derrick James stopped to sign an autograph from somebody else that was asking for an autograph. But the guy, Wayne Sullivan, was the one that was saying, you're a trainer of the year, but you don't know what an undisputed champion looks like. And Derrick James told him, stay your ass out there. Stay your ass out there. When Derrick James was walking past Terrence Bud Crawford, you know what I'm saying, inserted himself into the situation and was like, what's going on? What's up? Then the whole thing transpired, yada, yada, yada. It's all cool. They shook hands like men, handled that situation, and ironed it out, move on, right? Now, what I wanted to talk about real quick was Teofimo Lopez in the undisputed two-time blah, blah, blah conversation. Now, I will agree that Teofimo Lopez was not undisputed when he beat Vasily Lomachenko, because Vasily Lomachenko wasn't undisputed. Technically, you know, he had the franchise belt. WBC gave the belt to Devin Haney, but Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, and in my opinion, he beat Lomachenko better, in a better fashion than what Devin Haney was able to accomplish. Not taking away anything off Devin Haney's plate, you know what I'm saying? And for Teofimo Lopez to beat Josh Taylor, the Tartan Tornado, who wasn't undisputed at the time that he lost, I still feel like that version of Josh Taylor, maybe not physically, no excuses, but just where he had in his career, I think mentally he was a better version of Josh Taylor, you know, than he was when he fought against Regis Prograis, because Josh Taylor, you know, he had that tough fight that was controversial between Jack Catterall, and, you know, people were saying that Jack Catterall got robbed. So when Josh Taylor went into the fight with Teofimo Lopez, to me, he had more on the line to prove. He relinquished his belts to try to get the fight, the rematch with Jack Catterall, which I thought that was dope. You know what I'm saying? Because that showed how much he wanted it. But he had some injuries, some time passed, something happened to where that fight fell apart. He ended up getting a fight with Teofimo Lopez. But looking and judging off of Josh Taylor, to me, he was a better version of himself because he had a lot to prove from that Jack Catterall controversial win. Just like Teofimo Lopez had a lot to prove coming off of that win he had against, I forget, Sandor Martin. That was kind of a controversial win. So when he beats Josh Taylor in the way that he beat Josh Taylor, to me, it don't matter if Josh Taylor was not undisputed. He didn't lose his belts in a fight. He didn't lose them on the scale. He didn't lose his belts in a fight. You know what I'm saying? Josh Taylor, to me, was still a champion, but his mindset, without the belts, to me, his mindset, he had a lot to prove in this fight. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, Teofimo Lopez gets a lot of credit. You cannot technically call him undisputed two-time champion in two different weight divisions, but he really did beat the men who were the men. He beat the guys at a proper time. The time he beat Lomachenko was definitely proper, but the time he beat Josh Taylor, that's also to be applauded. So whether or not he was an undisputed champion is that, to me, that just, I gotta push that to the side enough to give Teofimo Lopez huge props. You know what I'm saying? He didn't beat a washed Josh Taylor. He didn't beat a Lomachenko who was way out of his prime. Because you've seen Teofimo Lopez put on a hell of a performance. I'm sorry, you've seen Vasily Lomachenko put a hell of a performance against a young champion, Devin Haney. So back to the All Access, and I'm gonna wrap this video up. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments below. It shows some training footage. It shows some Father's Day footage. The training footage, what I like to see, they mindset. Like they said, when Terrence Bud Crawford, once he went into the real camp, his mindset started to completely switch over from just being in pre-camp to being in real camp. And he knows the object at hand. And he's, you know, going through the mountains and high altitude training. That's how you say it, high altitude, above, whatever. Yeah. I like that he said he go up there and there's no distractions. He can float, he can focus on the task at hand. He can get his mind right and get sharp. You seen Bernie the Boxer doing his pad works, non-stop talking, giving Forrest Gump analogies. You know what I'm saying? I made it this far, I said I might as well just keep on going. You know what I'm saying? You can hear Bernie the Boxer just talking the whole time. Even when they was hiking up through the mountains, Bernie the Boxer, man, he just don't stop talking. Cool beans. I like to see Errol Spence when he went to, you know, talk to some of the team members on the Cowboys, but to have him even come to the camp and train. I forget the dude that came to help him train, but I like to see him training in Texas, because he can train in Texas and he's still not, you know, getting sidetracked with distractions. You don't have to go somewhere else. But to me, when they show that thermometer and they show the temperature over 106, 100 and something degrees, and Derrick James is like, this dude is sparring 13 rounds every day, and people questioning his conditioning. You know what I'm saying? I just heard Derrick James tell Ellie, I think it's not Ellie Setback, the dude from Fight Hype, not the other guy, I forget his name, I'll say it in another video, but Derrick James is like, Spence right now is even more ferocious. You know what I'm saying? I gotta put ice on my shoulders after we do pad work. I just wanted to talk about those few things. Maybe in other videos to come. Yeah, maybe not. I really want to make a video and give a salute to Jerron Boots Ennis for his performance against Romain Villiers. That'll be my next video, and then I'm done. Salute, salute, salute.